Hi, this is the Price Action Analyst. The following video is a real-time dissection of a live call option debit spread trade on Alta. It includes a price action analysis of the underlying price movement of Alta through to the option debit spread selection, the trade management, and finally the trade exit 9 days later. The video is designed to showcase how price action analysis is used in conjunction with options to profitably take advantage of an expected near-term move in price. Importantly, without the ability to time the market in the manner demonstrated in this video, it is exceedingly difficult to utilize options in a profitable manner. Please like the video and subscribe to my channel. If you are interested in real-time updates, please have a read of the description box or send an email to thepriceactionanalyst@gmail.com. Hi, this is the Price Action Analyst. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm just going to demonstrate how I go about looking for options trades. So this is Alta. Before I marked in the support and resistance lines, which are the orange lines, or any lines, I noticed that this looked like it was close to breaking out of here. So just without any lines on that, I noticed that that looked like this was going to challenge this trend line. And so after that, what I did was I framed up the support and resistance lines. So I don't need to do it for all price, but just, prices around my area. So, I'm looking for prior levels here. This would probably be tucked here. There's one here. And there's a level here. Remember, this is the weekly chart, so I just want a rough thing and then I go down to the daily. So like this level here would be off this peak, and you can see it kind of matches up with these lows here. And this level here kind of marries up with those points. So I basically want any extreme point, and then I'm just kind of tucking it inside so it touches more peaks. Here's the same thing. You've got this peak here, and I just tuck it inside. See how it sort of marries up with this area of congestion here. And then this line here is, so that's based off of these lows, and you can see when price comes down here, it kind of washes support. That's what we want to see. This line here, which was off these highs, and this level here, you can see it's kind of congests there and comes up and washes that level. So those are the support and resistance lines. And then what I'm doing is I'm now putting this trend line test in the context of market structure, support and resistance. So now I can zoom in on this area. So I can see what's happening. You've had, prices come down, and then it's sort of pushed up again. Hasn't really V-spiked out of here. It's not that strong. But the last move was to resistance, and then it's come down to support, and support's been tested multiple times, and then you've had strength off that, and you've had a retest of essentially inside support. So inside support is when price comes down and tests support. See how it kind of, there's resistance here. So, while this is acting as support, this is kind of inside resistance, I guess. And then when it breaks out, it's inside support. But you see how price kind of, it stays in a range while it's testing support. These are 60-minute bars. You can see that. So here's our support level, and you can see price comes up between support and inside resistance. And so again, we can tuck that inside. It marries up with this. And that is our support level. And so what's happening here is that as support holds and you get a break of inside resistance, an ideal trade setup is to hit the retest long. And so you've got a few things going on here. You've got a retest of previous highs. You've got a breakout with air. Air is untested price action. And so this retest of this error here will always act as buying support. It may not be a place where you get long, but it will always act as buying support. So in the context of where we are now, we're very interested to look at getting long here. Like, you don't just want to hit air anywhere, but in the context of where we are now, this is very, this is the trade setup that you want to look at. So as we get that breakout from inside resistance with air, we're waiting for that retest. And again, retest of multiple highs, retest of inside resistance, now inside support, and a retest of air. And you can see price came down, went up, retraced, and then you got the big move off of that. And so that is an ideal place to get long. And that is kind of, that's, if you're ultra short-term time frame trading, that's where you want to get long. You're kind of low probability that price is going to push against you, because this whole area is now acting as a barrier. When price comes out of here, everyone that was thinking that this was going to hold like it did here and here, they're all getting short here. And when they get short, they're stuck. And so when price comes back, they're hitting the buy button. So the question now is that, if I was futures trading, it's too late. It's way too late. In fact, these areas here are all going to offer resistance. It's very late in the game to be getting long. But I'm not futures trading this. I am looking to take an options trade. And so price having done that, congested at support, broken out, retested, nothing's certain, but it's high probability now that price is going to cycle up from support to resistance. So I expect that. And then the question is that enough? Is that enough to take an options trade? We're at 219, 220. We sort of expected to get to 253. So yeah, I guess, I would be looking for no longer than 2 weeks out. I would take a debit spread on that. And it would just be, if price is 220, then the debit spread would be the next price up from that. And the other thing that's happened here is you've had like an upward press into this, and then this is consolidation. And so, what I expect is, say that to be conservative, we might be looking for something like that. Now, it's not necessarily going to get there in a straight line, but that's my bias. So I'm not expecting price to, I'm not expecting this. I'm expecting the opposite of that. So something like that. So my premise is up. My bias is up. So would I take an options trade here? Yeah, I think so. The other thing that we could look at here is also, this is 5-minute bars. So, if you wanted to wait for a retrace on this, then this is, that's the last of the air here. And then you've got, these previous highs here. So you could wait and see if price is going to push down here. So the way that I think I'm going to play this is that this is the opening here. It's 9:46. So you've got 9:30, 9:35. You've got wick starting to form here. Basically, I'm just going to watch price. If price comes down further, I'll just watch it. But if we get a substantial buying bar here, I would probably take an options position in that, an options debit spread. So from where I'm going to leave this video, basically, it's 9:45 roughly. I'm just going to watch the price action, and I'm going to try and get the best entry I can today. This bearish action here, the substantial selling here, it's not going to press up until I see some indication that the buying strength. This is not really enough. So I'm just going to watch price watch and see how price plays out for the rest of the morning, and look for the best entry that I can get. Anyways, hope that's helpful. Just laying out how I sort of search for options trades. That was Ulta. So this is a day later, and I ended up taking a position on the afternoon of the 25th. So let's just cut across to the proof. So I bought 5 Ulta 225 call options at 10:48 a.m. and I'll show where that is on the chart in a minute. And then I've sold 5 Ulta 227.50s simultaneously at 10:48, and so that's for a net debit of 1.04. So we're 5 times that for the total trade. So if I just scroll into the intraday bars, so these are 5-minute bars. So I've marked with an arrow where the trade was made. So that's 10:45, that's 10:50. So the trade was made in there. So basically why I've done that is, price was coming down here. It made a big series of wicks. I was hoping it was going to push off out of here. It retested and pushed up, and then retested again and made another wick. And so I entered there. I could have waited, I guess. Well, I obviously could have waited, but it doesn't need to be that exact. Like in the context of what's happening here after the retest of inside support. So after this retest of support here and the push up and the other push up, I'm expecting price to move up and test the resistance levels up here and break out of this consolidation pattern. So, with the retrace here, it could come back all the way here, but if it does, I expect it to push off. So I could have been fussier with the entry, but I ended up just taking it there. And so that is the 25th. So the 26th starts on this big wick here. So I've used that wick to frame up this consolidation pattern. So this was a very good sign. It sort of washed this low and was bought up immediately and had a big push up. So that is going to act as support for any sort of attempts to come down. And you can see price immediately sold off as it came into that high, which is fine. But, I expected this to level to hold, and it did. It pushed up here and then just kind of consolidated for the rest of the day. So we already can frame this up. So I very much expect that to break to the upside and come and challenge us high. And so the blue lines are my strike prices for those options. It's the 225 and the 227.50. So if we go back to the daily, I want daily bars. So I'm going to get rid of this arrow. So that's the day I entered. So we've had this big push up. And again, this was a retest of inside support and it's pushed off. So I expect this to hold. And these buying bars are going to, their support for any pushes down. And these bars, they're almost kind of inside bars. So that's a good thing. So I'm expecting, if we get a buying bar, I'm expecting, eventually maybe another day of this, but then a buying bar to push up. And so that should take price above my top strike price. And again, that buying bar, if it does that, that's starting to break out of this longer term consolidation pattern. So what I'm really hoping to see here is that, and, hopefully normally maybe another day of this kind of retrace, as long as a retrace doesn't push down. If the retrace keeps going sideways like that, that's a very bullish sign to me, because when price does move, it tends to have a decent push, and that should, break this high, break out of this consolidation, and then push higher. And as soon as it does that, again, my bet essentially is that price is going to stay above 227.50. And, I talked about this before. This was a little bit late. I'm a little bit late here. This was the ideal place to get long. I just think price has got further to go. But the other thing that for people that are trading options, if you're looking at following Twitter accounts, watch when you get a big buying bar here, you'll start to get your recommendations to buy here. And that really put me off the Twitter advice, because here is your entry. And if you're very good, here's your entry, but here's another chance to get long. I'm 2 days late, but what I'm not doing is once this is broken out, I'm not taking positions anymore. That's too late for me. So I did have a period where I kind of spent a month or two subscribing to Twitter people, because you're always not sure that, well, I don't think I'm the best, but you always have a suspicion that, oh, this guy might, really be way better. But it was kind of disappointing, because they're buying these breakouts, and to me it's too late. It's not. These are the ideal places to be getting long, not here. It's too late once everyone can see it. So I will update you with the next one. So it's the morning of Thursday the 27th. It's 8:51, so the market's been open for 21 minutes. These are daily bars. So there's the pop I was hoping for. What I was talking about was 2 days of strength up, and then when it kind of consolidates sideways like that, that's usually a positive sign. And so we've got the pop there. If we go down to 60-minute bars, you can see that it's broken out of that consolidation pattern. And then my expectation was it's going to come and test that top trend line. If we look at the 5-minute bars, so here's that short-term sideways consolidation. My entry point's over here, right there somewhere. And so, this was a good sign. I knew this sideways consolidation was positive, and then today it's opened right here, and we've had that pop out. So you've got a breakout of this trend. It's come up to this strike price here at 225 is also the resistance line somewhere here. So we've had kind of, a retracement here, and then immediate another buying bar. So that looks good so far. The momentum's definitely up. So, as long as this doesn't push down deeply here. I mean, it might push down in the short term, because this is a resistance level. So it is going to get some resistance here, obviously, but I'm hoping that it can just keep pushing up today. And again, that looks like a big push, but these are 5-minute bars. And what I'm hoping is it'll get up here and start pushing against this, testing this trend line. So what I'm really looking for eventually is a breakout, retest, and another push up, so that it's definitely trending away from this trend line. And then my option spread is getting, it's in the money, and it's safer and safer. So everything looks good so far. That's the pop that I was waiting for, and we'll just keep an eye on the price action. So it's now Friday the 28th. It's 9:37 a.m. So the market's been open for an hour. There's the pop on Alta. So again, the arrow is my entry point, and this is 60-minute. This is hourly bars. So we've obviously had a gap up on the open, and prices coming down. So there's September 4th options, which takes me to next Friday. And so I'm working on the assumption that price is going to hold above 227. Worst case scenario, it closes this gap and pushes away, but I'm hoping that it doesn't get down that far, but we'll see. There's quite a bit of selling pressure today. So I'm hoping this will subside soon. I don't think this is going to close today, but we'll see. And so my options position's gone from, so its maximum value is 250, and it's been as high as 220 today. I probably want to get, I want to get as much as I can for it, but I paid 1.05, and it's up to 2-ish with that gap. So again, if you knew the gap was going to be that extreme, then I would have bought a call option. But, I don't know that that's going to happen. My premise is for price to push up here and to come to resistance. And that's exactly what it has. But I don't expect it to just gap up and do that. It could have pushed up here relatively slowly, but it's actually gapped above it and then come in below. But what I would hope is that, inside support's around here somewhere, and you start to get a push up. And as that push up happens, it's the time value of the option is depleting, and the value of the option spread is going up. So that's worked out well so far. I just want to go back to yesterday's price action. So I made the video, last video somewhere there, and this was a resistance level. And as soon as I made the video, So we were about there. As soon as I made the video, got a huge sell-off. And that was a bit disconcerting. So we had, similar today, we had a pop-up and then price immediately sold off. But it ended up holding this trend line that was already painted in, and it pushed up. And so as soon as I saw that V spike, that's a very bullish sign. I expected price to work out, and so it pushed up outside of this trend line again to resistance, retraced to the trend line, and then came back inside again. So, and the thing is, when price comes in and washes, as long as it moves back up, which it has, whenever you get, a very, this area, price transacted in this area very much. And so when it moves up from here, I'm much more confident in the up move. If price had just pushed up from here, that all this air and this space and untested price action worries me. So the fact that price immediately came down in here and washed all of this and retested and then pushed up, that makes me much more confident in the move up. So this area, all this price action here is going to act as support if price is to come back down in here. So we'll see what happens. I'm expecting some buying support relatively soon. I'm going to need it. I don't want price has to stay above 227 before next Friday. So I'll keep an eye up on price, and we'll update as necessary. So it's after market on the 1st of September, Tuesday. This is today's price action. So we had price open here. It probed down very close to my top expiry. My 227.5 exercise, and then it subsequently pushed up. And so just going down into the intraday action, let's go to 10-minute bars. So this was the start of the day. So it opened below yesterday's close, and again, I needed to stay above the blue bar before Friday. So I watched it. I did consider selling it today. The price range between 2 and 1.4. So it gapped down on the open. Then we had a big buying bar next, which gave me hope that it was going to push away from this area. It failed. It came back down, retested the low, had another buying bar, which again gave me sort of an indication that price wanted to push up from this low. Tested again, was bought up, and then it rolled over and it washed these lows. And then it slowly was bought up. And so using this point and this point, you can frame up a trend line or consolidation line. Also on these points, there was one. As price washed the lows and the buyer started to step in and push it away from here, I was more optimistic, especially, when it broke out of this consolidation, then tested this trend line. But once it pushed out of here, it was an indication that this low was going to hold, at least in the short term. So I'm hoping for a bit more price appreciation tomorrow. So if that does happen, it should at least give me, if it pushes up into this area, I should be able to exit the position for like 2.2-ish. I have a sell order on for 2.45, which is close to the 2.5 max. If it opens lower tomorrow and starts pushing down here again, then I as I did today, I was sort of thinking about getting out, but these buying bars sort of gave me optimism to just hang in there. If this option was 2 or 3 weeks away, I would just leave it, because I know that it's going to get support off of this previous high and the gap. That's high probability, but I don't have the time, because this option expires on Friday. I don't have the time to risk it coming in here and probing, because if it on Friday, if it's below 225, then I lose everything. So hopefully all I need is a little push here. I need it to just stay away from this top exercise price to 227.5, and it looks to be doing that so far. So overall, today was kind of worrying, because I was afraid to get out for 1.4 when my entry price is 1.0 something. The way the day ended, I'm still okay. So we'll see what tomorrow has in store for us. But as of Tuesday the 1st, it's still looking okay. This is today's price action from Wednesday, the 2nd of September. So the next day, as you can see, price has probed down a little bit, but pushed up higher through the later half of the day. So this is a very good sign that price is moving away from here. You know, as price came back down into these levels, we're seeing early strength off of that. So it's very good. We got 2 more days. I would exit, you know, if price was close to what I want. I'm asking for 2.45, I think, out of 2.5, which is a lot. But I mean, the price today was like 1.5, which is ridiculously low considering where it is. I mean, I could be wrong about that, but I just don't think that it was high enough. So I'm not willing to exit the position yet. So if this can keep pushing up here or stay up here for the next 2 days, it's looking very good. These are 10-minute bars. So that was the beginning of the day right there. So we had that early probe down and then strength off of that. And so that, when I see a wick and another attempt and then a buying bar and another buying bar, that, you know, I recognize that right away, that's might be the low of the day. That price might push up from there because you've got price going down. There's a big wick, which tends to hold, another attempt down and a buying bar and then another buying bar. So, you know, if you're short-term trading options, that would have been a reason to get long, potentially. I don't necessarily do that because it's you know, it's risky and the options go against you in the day. The value falls away from them very fast. So I prefer the debit spreads. But anyways, price sort of pushed up throughout the day, got to a new high, retraced here and closed the day on a high. And so that's indicative to, you know, usually we get a strong day if it's closing at its high. So looking good so far. If that price, you know, if the price can get a little bit higher tomorrow, I'll be looking to exit, you know, tomorrow, if not Friday. I'm just, you know, it's over for me. If price just dives into these levels, then I've kind of gone from profits to losses. So as long as it can kind of stay up here, we're looking good. So it's Friday, 4th of September. It's 8:56 a.m. My Ulta position was exited automatically this morning. I had that order sitting there, the good till canceled order at 2.42. So that was filled at 8:34. So right 4 minutes after the market opened. So that's a really good outcome. I'm happy with that. I've got the arrows marked again for my entry point, and today was my exit. These are daily bars. So Ulta gapped up, had weakness, came down to this area, didn't quite fill the gap, and it pushed up again, which was all I needed. Today was the expiry date of those options. So the maximum was 2.5 and my order was filled for 2.42, and that happened, like I said, 4 minutes after opening. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. Here is the price action today. These are 10-minute bars. This is the opening bar. So let's scroll down to 3-minute bars. So here it was exited on this bar here. And it's come off a little bit, but yeah, like I said, that order was sitting there as a good till canceled order. So it all happened basically automatically. So again, just recapping, that was the retest of inside support, I guess. And I was a little bit late. Trade would have been easier to maybe have gotten out earlier if I'd have taken the trade sort of here with strike prices here, but I took the trade here with strike prices here. The top strike price was 227.50. And today on expiry prices is at about 240. And here's the trade proof of exit. So you can see it's the 4th of September. It was 9:33, and I've exited that position. Sell to close, buy to close, 5 for a net credit of 242. So that is how I conduct options trades, and I'm very into doing it at the moment with call debit spreads. That a debit spread means that you pay to enter the position, and normally I'm doing that the amount I'm paying, I'm looking to make just over double. So for that position, I paid 5.25 and I'm making about 600 and change on the position. So I'm doubling the entry cost in the period of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 trading days. And that amount of time is always different, but I would say 8 days is roughly the average. Anywhere from 5 days to 2 weeks is the normal sort of period. So please like and subscribe this video if you've enjoyed it. If you want to know more about it or are interested in getting daily updates from me, then check out my subscription services. But I'm just hoping that this serves as an example of how I conduct options trades. And the thing about debit spreads is it's my sort of favorite way to conduct these sorts of trades, but you really need to know how to time your entry. If you're not timing an entry, then you have to go and do things like options credit spreads. And I think those are from my experience, they've been a lot less lucrative. In fact, I've lost money doing that. I make money with the debit spreads, but you need to know how to time the market. So, if you're interested in seeing how I time the market in conjunction with utilizing debit spreads, then, like the video, subscribe to the channel. And if you're interested in more detail, check out the subscription service. Thanks for watching.